Hello everybody, welcome to another Zabbix video. This time we are talking about use case when a context macro can be beneficial to use inside tag or inside a tag value. So that's like the technical implementation. We will use context macro as a value for the tag, and the underlying use case is how to automatically pin a responsibility for the team just because this team is responsible about a very specific service, a very specific object inside the server. And I will run this proof of concept by using the file system monitoring as a underlying thing. And what we will do is one server will have 2 mount points, and by default all mount points belong to one team, but we want to introduce override and kind of assign that one mount point is really the team is a very unique team is responsible about that mount point. And this can be applicable in case of database monitoring, Oracle or any DB team. So the use case, I mean, the technical thing, it is less documented, and maybe nobody knows that this is even possible. That's one reason why I'm making this video. And the other reason, the second reason is actually this is quite elegant solution when we think about cost of the maintenance. And by maintenance I mean if we run Zabbix, we should not have too many actions. One action which is sending email alert to Linux team, one action which sends emails to Windows team, and then one action maybe which inform the DB team. And we don't want to edit that action all the time just because to include a new entity, just because we are operating with tags. It allows to do small modifications at the host level and then job done, like not editing the actions. I love it a lot, and that's the reason why I'm sharing this use case. Let's have a look. The journey starts here. Server is running 2 different mount points. Right now, when we open these, then there are no tags registered at the trigger level. And for the other one as well, no tags. And what is about to happen next is we will implement that every mount point kind of belongs to the default team. Before I do that, maybe let's start to create an action just to indicate this proof of concept a little bit better. So the action will be team default, something like that. And here we will say if tag is team and equals default, then need to do something. So team equals default, then I want to send a message to me, to user here, and click, and using my special media type, Telegram, for example. So I will belong to the default team, add, and voila, one action. And let's create another action team database, and here it will target tag team and DB. Add, and I will, as a proof of concept, will set this very similar story here, and here you go. And now the overall setup is done. Like I like this. Like it almost looks like set it and forget. We do this once, so we should not have more than 10 actions, and then later on at the host level or template level, if we think this message must go to the database team, we will do like a small modification in one place, and job done, and like never visiting this section again. So what is this small modification? And it falls back to this use case, file system monitoring. Here I'm running universal template, which is covering Windows and Linux at the same time. And inside this template, there are like a single threshold, which is targeting 2 gigabytes. If the mount point or the drive on Windows is running less than 2 gigabytes, then we are receiving the email. Okay, now the magical part will start. I will come up with completely new macro, which is called team, and I will call it default. So this will be kind of like everything which comes from this template will go to the default team. And I made that action already, but this is absolutely like not enough. But this is like the startup of this solution. So the team default, and let's a little bit recap what is a context macro. I was initially saying like we will use a context macro in a tag setup. And right now this template is running one trigger threshold. I will copy this pattern to the clipboard and update, and visit discovery section to indicate and remind what is a context macro. And this is it. Like a context macro, it's practically a threshold, but a threshold which accepts here, it accepts a context, and a context can be C drive, D drive, root mount point, or some data mount point on the Linux server. And we can manipulate with this thing. And usually in Zabbix this is used to define a threshold or to define like an exception, which is also like a threshold. But right now it's also possible to use as a tag value. So I will copy the same context macro, copy, and go here to the tags and write team and put this context over here. And but instead of this threshold macro, I want to use my team macro. Team. So if the team macro is running unknown context, here it can expand to C drive, D drive, and if it's running an unknown context, it will fall back to the default value which I made in the template, which is the default value is default. So this is all it takes to make this beautiful, elegant solution. Tag team, which is using the macro team and having context. Okay, update. And so the template is ready, and now I will kind of demonstrate what's the outcome, and we'll try to create a problem. And to create a problem, let's before I create the problem, I will tell the setup that let's go back to that initial phase. We have a host group, click triggers, and if I search a trigger, free space, I have two different triggers. One is root. Here is the root threshold, and the other is something. The other is var OLED. And let's call like if this context should not belong to if this mount point should not belong to the default team. Like let's say like a very specific team is responsible about this mount point always. But yeah, let's say most likely in real life it will be at the host level. So what I will do is I will copy this context, click, and go to at host level, tell and install this $team colon, and inside the double quotes putting the context. Okay, and the context, the value, like where I want to assign, to which team I want to assign this mount point. So it sounds so easy, and it is so easy, and maybe like nobody knows this functionality exists. And yeah, that's all it requires. Now at one host level, I tell like this very specific exception and update. And our hope would be that when these problems are generated, these are triggers. So this will go to the default team. This will go to the other team. Let's explore. Actually, since I made that prototype few minutes ago, it is not yet populated. I need to go to the template, click templates, items, and in my template there is like discard unchanged with heartbeat, remove, just for this new trigger prototype to populate this new team definition. Okay, and it will kick in the next 1 minute. And now I also want to generate a problem. And the way how I plan to do that, I will also copy this default threshold, copy, and set it completely different on that particular host object. This is my host object, hosts, and installing also this, instead of 2 gigabytes, I will tell if it's less than 50 gigabytes, then it should go into the problem state. Okay, update. So now 2 different things are changed, and the theme macro should come very soon, and let's explore it right away. Here, open host triggers, click, and search for my free space and check if the tag, yes, the tag is populated. So for the root, there should be nice to have the default theme, click, and we see like team with the context root, and I have never defined this context. So when event comes, this will expand to the keyword default. Let's go the other way. Here, var OLED, click, and here is team var OLED, which I very specifically, okay, my phone is already bombarding with this trigger, copy, cancel. If I refresh the page, these green OKs will be disaster, click, and here you go. Let's see how they expand inside the problems page. Going back to the all hosts here, and no, my bad, monitoring hosts, and for this host now I have 2 disaster problems because I illustrated this thing. And here you go. Does it work? If we have a look on this particular event, let's start with the root. So this mount point should have the team default. Click, and what we see, the tag team default. And for the other var OLED, what is the team? Yes, a team database. So how cool is that? That now the actions do exist, and every time we need to find like this team who is responsible about service and something, that then all we need to do is like go click on the host object, click, go to the macro, and here like copy this context and assign something extra. Let's say I cannot think about, but data oracle, like or just like in real life, I think usually people do this oracle. So everything which belongs to that object. This time the object is mount point, but this same solution can be applied to services, and we can tell here Oracle, and this would be the team. And hopefully the Oracle team already exists here inside the alert section, triggers actions. And so I have so far only made default team and database team, but this section, from my point of view, it's set it and forget type of thing. We set it once and then just use it. Okay. That is everything in this tutorial. If you find it helpful, useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the playlists of this channel. Maybe it is having some other content. It drives your attention. There are for every every style. Like if you want to be productive with Zabbix, there is productivity tips. There is like one playlist for the Windows hard Windows boys or Windows ladies. A lot of like for every taste. Okay, goodbye for now.